Hi, I'm Lisa,
Hi, I'm Missy, and this is Lake Wylie, South Carolina.
and we decided today to shoot a video breaking down the sun salutation. Since we've started that 19th sun salutation challenge, we wanted to do something to actually show in its entirety the sun salutation in case you're new to doing it, maybe show you some different variations and some of the different modifications that you could take, but really breaking it down completely 100%.
Right.
Because some people have been doing it forever and learned it a different way. Maybe you feel like you're not doing it right, but showing you that it's still okay. Or maybe you want a different way to do it because you're getting tired of the way you're doing it. And there's nothing wrong or right with either way. So what I'm going to do, we're going to flow through it just one time, and then we're going to break it down. Sound good?
Sounds good.
All right, let's just do that right now. We'll just start here, wherever. Missy, you start anywhere on your mat, okay? And then I'll start right here because it really doesn't matter with that. And we'll start first. We're just going to go through it one time. So we're going to start with our mountain pose. And then we're going to forward fold. We'll inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant our hands on the mat. Step back to our high plank. Shift forward just a little. Lower halfway down. Untuck the toes. Upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And that is the basic sun salutation. So I'm going to walk through it while Missy does it, and we're going to do it nice and slow, really slow, so that I can give you cues and really break it down even more. So we're going to start from the very, very top of the mat with Missy in mountain pose. So she's going to bring her arms over her head, her palms facing each other. When you're in your mountain pose, one of the things you really want to focus on first is grounding down through your feet. So this is a really great posture that's a lot more challenging than people realize. Thinking about the tailbone shooting straight down, so you're not really tucking under or shooting it back, right? You're not duck butting, sticking it out, just kind of shooting straight down. Hold your belly button in, lifting up, and then maybe dropping the shoulders down just a little bit. Now maybe your feet are together or maybe they're standing out just a little bit. Find a comfortable place here so that you can find a really nice, natural alignment while you keep breathing. And on their next, you're gonna exhale. So when you forward fold, you wanna hinge straight from your hips, you're diving down. So you pull the belly button up and in, hinging forward. Maybe taking a slight bend in the knees here to help your hands reach down all the way to the mat. Your head hangs heavy. And again, maybe you take a full round of breath here. You can breathe in, you can breathe out once you start flowing breath to movement. But then from the forward fold, we're gonna come to a halfway lift. So you see how Missy has this really nice flat back. You can even think about bringing the shoulder blades together if you want to, but really pulling the belly button up and in. You can see her hands are right here on her shins. If that's hard for you, you can always bring them up to your thighs. Maybe even keeping a slight bend in the knees if that feels good to help you get this nice flat back. So if that all makes a lot of sense here. But really, we're always trying to protect the back and really hug the belly in. So we're moving on as she exhales, planting her hands right on the mat, stepping back to a high plank. So we're gonna do the full expression of this before we start adding on any things that you can do here. But look at this, is beautiful plank, Missy. You can see her belly button is really pulled up a lot. She's pushing a lot in her toes right here. A really long straight line all the way down her back, through her legs. Everything is really long here. Next, she's gonna push through her toes, shift forward just a little bit. From here, she's gonna lower halfway down. See how her elbows hug in from her sides, right here. So this is protecting her shoulders. Untucking her toes so they go down, then lifting up to her upward facing dog. Now, Missy likes to look up, and if that doesn't feel good on your neck, you can always look straight forward. Her shoulders are right over her elbows and line right here with her wrists, one strong line. From here, her hips are gonna look up and back, tucking the toes back under, downward facing dog. Great job, Missy. That is your traditional sun salutation. Now, people have learned it many different ways, and the way that I learned it, to teach it, is really to keep people the safest.
Right.
Right?
To protect your shoulders.
A lot of the things really it comes down to protecting the body, keeping you safe so you can keep doing this a long time. So maybe you do it a little bit differently. I know some people do a little bit more of a dive down.
And it looks really beautiful when you do that.
Right, and it might be just perfect. But for some people, repetition of that can kind of cause some wear and tear on the shoulders.
Right.
And maybe not feel good over time. But if that's how you do it, it's perfectly okay.
Of course.
Absolutely. So we're going to show some other variations that you can take, though, really more from that stepping back from your plank.
Okay.
Some things that you can do here, maybe like lowering down to your knees. That might be a great one. Let's
Knees
show
first.
that one. Like so from your, let's show from that half. Let's show from the halfway lift. So from her halfway lift, she's going to plant her hands down on the mat, step back to her high plank. Now, lowering down to her knees right here, then still she can shift forward. Now what she did is she cut out half the weight here, and she can still untuck her toes and still come up to that upward facing dog. Right here, boom, she got all the same benefits, but maybe instead of shifting forward in that high plank, or another great option you can do, now I'll have you just bring your high plank, lowering all the way down to her belly. So if she lowers all the way down right here, she could take more of a baby cobra. And then lowering all the way back down, pushing up to tabletop position. From tabletop, tucking her toes right into downward facing dog. And that takes a lot of that pressure for a lot of people off from just shifting forward, upward facing dog, downward facing dog, and still getting a lot of benefit from there.
I'll never forget one of the first problems I had when I was first engaging in my own yoga practice was my wrists were not very strong. So the constant bending of my wrists at this right angle was, it hurt sometimes. So instead of doing the full expression of it, to come to my knees took a lot of that weight off.
Absolutely. No, that's a great way. And definitely coming down all the way to your belly. And then just maybe even coming to a lower cobra, not even a full one, just lowering all the way down, and maybe even letting your wrists hover.
Right.
And using more, pushing your toes into the mat, and then lowering back down and pushing up just a tabletop here. Or you could even do here and really tucking your toes and pushing yourself up to a push-up.
Right.
You know, there's a lot of different ways that you can add and change it. And of course, as we've shown, when we're in that mountain pose, you can do a back bend, you can take a side bend, you can take an open arm twist.
Right.
There's a lot of things you can add on, but those are more like just fun add-ons,
Right.
not really modifications to the actual sun salutation. There's so many other options that you can do. Now, if you had a block available or a book available, that's a great thing that you could always add when you're coming here, when you're shifting forward. If you wanted to add that under your shoulder to help you figure out, or maybe add that right under your chest bone before coming and untucking your toes. And then you could come to your upward facing dog. Right now, since we're not in a yoga studio, we don't really have those available to us.
Correct.
But some people have been using books. They've been using water bottles. Actually, I saw someone the other day who used a water bottle in place of a block.
Oh,
I thought that was a really great way. So even from their halfway lift, they kind of hand and place the hand here.
Oh.
So that they could have that right here. So for the forward fold even, using that as a prop.
That's
So-
a good idea.
Yeah. So there's a lot of great things that you can do here. I hope that helped. I think that was a really good.
I just lost my balance sitting down.
Oops. Thank you for joining us. And if you have any requests or kind of videos that you are wanting to know more about or learn about in your yoga practice, let us know on our page on Lake Wylie Yoga Social, and we'll make that for you.
That's right. Yeah, we're always happy to help. We want to help other people engage in their practice as well. So anything that you need from us, we're going to do our best to provide it.
Absolutely. Namaste.
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 Namaste.